one of the most common uses of RGB lights is to light a background, to change the colour of a background. This background here is called Morning Mist, and it's just a slightly calm white. It's gone on to sort of early sort of grey, slightly beige perhaps. And it's a good base to then put light onto. Now, the way we normally work, let me show you how it's done, because the way we normally work is to have a light which is our subject light, which is set to a perfect white balance. So this lamp here is a Lupo Superpanel 30, and I've got this set in correlated colour temperature mode, and I've set the colour temperature to 5000 Kelvin. The camera is set to 5600 Kelvin, and so it's going to bring out the cream in the dress and make the whole picture just a little bit warmer, a bit more lovely richness to skin tones. We've got dimmer, I've set it to about 30%. Now, the amount of level on this light really affects the background, so you've got to be careful not to run your key light at too high a level, because you won't get the oomph into the background lighting. So in order to give yourself a little bit more control of the backlight, drop this down, maybe 30%, 20%, something like that. I'm really going to be working a metre or so from my subject, so that's the way to work there. So let's pop that one up. So that's going to be about here on Alice, beautiful. Now you'll notice that on Alice I've got two backlights up there. Those are Lupo 650s. They're set to 5600 Kelvin, and they're just providing a little bit of backlight just to rim light Alice. Gives that sense of separation and that bit of depth, especially when you're working with a cover of a magazine, something like that. You sort of want to make sure that you've got that three-dimensional feel, especially in the studio where everything can be just a little bit too flat. Right, okay, so that's that. Now, of course, the colour at the moment, I've just got the hue set to 0, so that's like a sort of very rich, bright red. Saturation 100%, luminosity, intensity 100%, so it's full on red. But of course, it's going to have a slightly peachy feel. Let's have a look on camera. So you can imagine, so for a commercial shoot, this could actually look quite good. I think it's quite a nice colour actually. It would suit the cover of a magazine, but probably not the editorial content. Because when you start putting more than one picture together on an internal spread, you need to be more calmer with the colour. You need to take the saturation down, and let me show you how that's done. But this is quite nice. Let's actually take a cover shot. Beautiful. Bring your hands up. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's lovely. Lovely. Hold that there, and that's energy. Yeah. Straight round through to camera now. Yeah, there, beautiful. And bring your arms up again though. That's it. Yeah, that's fabulous. Lovely, beautiful. I'm just aware I need to get a little bit more light in the eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the key light down onto Alice, just to do that there, like that there. So these little adjustments are really important when you're looking at the final mix. You've got to bear in mind that this light is actually going to light the background as well. So that white light is going to sort of take some of that saturation out at the bottom of the frame. So that's just something to bear in mind. And you can't use this type of colour onto a background and expect it to light the floor as well. So you're not dealing with full-length pictures. Just really from the knees upwards is normally what you can expect to get in this type of lighting scenario. Let's take some more shots. Okay. That's a bit of fun, a bit of energy. That's nice. That's lovely, actually. I'm just going to take the exposure down a little bit there. And there, perfect. Bring your arms up so that you don't chop your hands off. That's it, there. Head back up a bit, that's it. Yeah, lovely. And to camera, straight to camera. Yeah, head up a little bit, yeah. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, let's take the saturation down, because this is what we need to do. At the moment, we've got maximum saturation on these lights. So I'm going to drop that down to maybe 40%, and that will calm it down, and we'll get more to a dusky pink. Let's have a look at that. About 40% on this one too. It doesn't matter if you've got one slightly more than the other, but if you can get it right, then why not? Let's see what happens. Oh, look at this. This is lovely. So this is a lovely dusky pink, and just have that's fine. That's nice. I like that look. Actually, that's really, really good. Bring your hands up again for me. Yeah. I'm going to give you a shrug. This could be nice for a bridal magazine, probably editorial level, working inside. And you can do a sort of a couple of page spreads, maybe even a collection. Just drop it off the shoulder with a shrug, just to there. That's nice there. Fabulous. And then, happiest day of your life. That's it. Thank you. Great. Lovely. Okay, so now what happens if we want to change the colour? Maybe we want to go from that's sort of a pink into maybe a peach. Take a look at this. So for a peach, what we're going to do, we're going to take the saturation back up so we can see what the colour is. And just using our eyes, we're going to dial the hue down. Let's have a little look at where we go to. Maybe something, if you go up to here, up to about sort of 40 or 50, you go into the beautiful yellows and the golds. So I think somewhere between the red and the yellow, maybe something about here. Let's try this here. That's looking good, about 30%, 31. It's not actually a percentage, it's a value. So with the hue, so let's have a little look here. Let's drop the hue down and take it to here, the same 30, which is where we were on the other side. That's fine there. Saturation, let's take the saturation up. Something like that, 100%, dimmer, 100%. We'll start maximum saturation, maximum dimmer, just so that we can see what we're looking at, and then we can play it down and be calmer with it. So this is that sort of slightly peachy colour. I like that. That works really well. That's quite beautiful, actually. And now let's calm it down. So take the saturation down. That's the first thing to do. You'll find actually that the background balance will be quite nice. I'm taking the saturation down to 40%, 40, 50%, something like 40. Let's do that. And the balance of the background, in terms of the amount of intensity you add, is quite important as well, because you can calm the picture down. The darker the background, the more emphasis there is on your subject. But the darker the whole image is going to look on a page. If you're printing to a white page, then something like this is quite nice. This is a lovely colour, actually. This is beautiful. Yeah, I can work with this. That's fantastic. And then I'm going to take the intensity down now. That's quite bright. And let's take the intensity down to 50%. So just to recap, we're on a hue of 31. That gives us a lovely peach. We're on a saturation of about 40%. And now we're taking the intensity down to 50%. So that we've got ourselves just that lovely balance here. Now, of course, we could, in theory, leave the intensity at 100% and take the key light up and then drop the exposure down, and that might get our ISO lower if you need to do that. But the results are the same. You can work it through. Beautiful. This is nice. I like this look. Yeah. Fun, fun, fun. Yeah, that's it. Energy. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. So let's take a look perhaps at a powder blue. Okay, so once you've got this sort of opportunity to get those subtleties in the tones on the background, we can shift them around. So maybe a mint green or a powder blue. Let's go with a blue. Let's find out how we're going to do that. So take your saturation up, take your intensity up so you can see what you're doing. Dial in your colour. So a powder blue might be something like, well, let's get a nice blue for a moment. So something like this, I would say that's quite nice. That feels good. 189, 190, that looks good. Let's do the same on here. Let's match them either side. So 189, I think I had on the other side. So let's do that. There we go. That's fine. It's good enough. Intensity. Let's take that up to 100%. Let's take the saturation up as well. Just check those two are there for this. That's fine, 100%, 100%. So now we've got the maximum amount of blue we're going to get. Don't forget the base colour of this. It's quite light, okay? That's the morning mist, I think it's called, the background roll. And so we've got a light, bright, intense, saturated look. And if you want to go for a midnight blue or a darker sort of feel, start with a darker base. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But that darker base will then give you the opportunity to go dark and moody. But let's go with baby blue, light powder blue. So at the moment, the shot we've got is too saturated and it's too screaming vibrance, and I want to calm that all down. So we do that by taking the saturation down. So let's take the saturation down to about 40%. And I'm going to take the intensity down as well to about 50%. That way we can just calm the whole picture down a little bit and it's going to start looking more beautiful. We might even end up taking the saturation down even further. So let's have a little look at this. Saturation down to 40%. Okay, something like that. And 50% on the dimmer. And let's take it from there. Okay, there we go. Let's take a shot and see what it looks like. Oh, that's looking nice. That's lovely. Yeah, that's brilliant. Actually, that works really, really well. It's a lovely sort of feel to it. Excellent. So there we go. We've gone from a rich, vibrant coral down to a very calm, dusty pink. Then we went into peach, and we've got a lovely peach glow, and then down to a very calm, sort of slightly beige, creamy sort of look. And now we've gone into baby blue. You know, the control and the intensity and the feel and all the mood that you want to put into a picture is under your control with these Superpanel 30 RGB lights. what I've done is I've taken the intensity of the lights up to 100%. I've taken the saturation to 100%. I've left the hue where it was. I think it was 181. And I've got that lovely blue on the background. But the background, of course, now, instead of being morning mist, that sort of light background roll, it's the studio grey. Now the grey is Dulux Ice Storm 2 paint, which is a deep neutral. It's a little bit darker than 18% reflectance, perhaps it's about 15%, but it's got a great base to work from. So go for a mid to dark grey on a background. If you're using paper, something like storm grey is a good grey to have, or charcoal, and then you can get that lovely deep richness to the pictures. Let's take a look at where we are here, and then we'll look at the amount of saturation that we need and the luminance in a moment. I'll get Alice in. Let's go for Midnight Blue. Alice, come on in. Okay, if you take your mark there, let's have a little look at where we are. Okay, so we were on those lovely sort of powder blue, and now we've got a darker blue. This is great, I love it. It's got a lot of saturation, a lot of vibrance to it, but you can see straight away we've got that depth of colour because we've taken the luminance down by just changing the background. All I'm going to do now is take the kick out of the blue and by reducing the saturation and make it calmer. It's like more powdery, dusky, but darker. Let's give that a go. So let's take the saturation down to maybe 50%, something like that. Just try 40%. 40% might be perfect. And once we've got this set, then we'll need to have a look at perhaps the luminance and see where we go with there. But you should be able to match anything that you need. Oh, I love this. Look at that straight away. I'm really liking that. That's beautiful. And some energy. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's a gorgeous shot. Yeah, fabulous. Great. Okay. And relax there. Let's take the overall light level down now. And I'm going to do that here just by taking the intensity down. So I'll drop that down to 50%. Why not? Seems like a good level to go to. All these values, by the way, you can program them in. So once you've got a colour, a hue, an intensity and a saturation that you really love, just save it into the memory bank and you can recall that later. It's a really good way of working because especially if you've got a client and you want to keep everything consistent and you shoots a month apart or so. Oh, I love this. This is beautiful. Yeah, lovely. So I'm still working with those two backlights. There's two Lupos. That's it. Great energy. Yeah, fabulous. Thank you. But look at those colours there, lovely deep colours. Now, of course, we're not confined to blue. Let's see if we can go for something, maybe a sort of a deep brown or something like that. Let's have a little look. What we've got to do now is change the hue. Just dial the hue in to a colour that you like. I'm going to take the intensity up just for the moment so I can see where I'm going on with this. And we'll go back down to something, this end of the spectrum, about there. Let's go for maybe a 49, something like 49, 50. Between 48 and 52, you get this lovely gold. And I think that could look lovely. So I'm going to just calm that down, take the saturation down to maybe 70% and the intensity down again to about 50%, so keep that dark. So I've managed to set, I think I've set hue at 47 there. So let's match that over here. It's quite nice to match the colour at least. So 47 here, let's try that there. They're quite subtle, but you know there's a lot of difference between each degree and each hue setting, so it's worth getting these things right. 50% on there, and let's take the saturation up to there. Let's calm that down a little bit, just to about there. Perfect. Let's have a little look. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's really, really nice. Let's take the intensity up a little bit. Why not? Something like that there. Keep the saturation where it is. Take that intensity up and take that down. And let's have a look at this. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Beautiful. Yeah, gorgeous. Okay. So that's how to use the Superpanel 30s to light a background. You've got in the darker register, so to get all of those darker hues and those darker sort of midnight colours and the richness. It's quite nice to light a dark space. Even if it was a black background, you'll be surprised at how much light comes off that background, especially if you throw colour at it. It's really, really lovely. Thank you very much. Excellent.
you.